Sandro Tonali attracting interest from Premier League clubs over the weekend. Reports continue to link Sandro with interest from Arsenal and Spurs, and there's claims that Tottenham offered 75 million, but Newcastle are understood to have rejected any approach and value the Italian midfield far higher. There remains no indication that Sandro Tonali is pushing to leave, according to The Sun. So let's break this down, shall we, and get into it. Newcastle have no desire to sell Sandro, to be honest. He's one of our most important players. However, the rumours won't go away, and they will continue to build, no doubt. The journalists and the talking heads have come out over the weekend and said quite a bit. So let's go through that, shall we? So we got Romano. He's repeatedly described Tonali as a player Newcastle consider untouchable unless an extraordinary offer arrives. He has not reported that Tonali wants out either. Luke Edwards, Telegraph, has consistently said Newcastle have no desire to sell and would resist approaches unless PSR or the player's wishes altered the situation. David Orstein, The Athletic, has not suggested Tonali is actively seeking a move. His reporting on Newcastle generally stresses that the club's priority is strengthening rather than cashing in on stars. And then Alan Shearer. Shearer recently said he'd do everything possible to keep Tonali, describing him as one of Newcastle's most important players, and I totally agree. It's also important to hear what the journalists that are close to Newcastle have had to say as well. And at the moment, the strongest reporting comes from Keith Downey and Craig Hope. And their information broadly aligns with what we just heard from other reporters. However, Keith reported that Tottenham made an offer around 80 million, which Newcastle rejected it immediately, apparently. And there's no indication that Newcastle are actively looking to sell. And Tonali remains one of Eddie Howe's key players. Well, Craig Hope of the Daily Mail is also having a similar understanding. Spurs bid was closer to 75 million, apparently. Newcastle valuation, he believes, is around 100 million. And most importantly, Tonali himself is not asked to leave. The club's position would only change if the player requested a move and a huge offer arrived. So we've got a number of journalists here saying yes and no. Yes, there's lots of interest. No, Newcastle don't want to sell. No, Tonali's not said a word. But we're going to have to wait and see, aren't we? But waiting to see is not always the best option. So let's see if we can read between the lines. So when you've got several reliable reporters are saying similar things, a picture emerges. Tottenham's interest appears genuine. Newcastle have rejected at least one approach. Tonali has not publicly or privately pushed for a move, according to the best connected reporters. So nothing about friends or even foes there. And that Newcastle's valuation is around 100 million plus. So the one unknown is whether Tonali himself eventually decides he wants Champions League football elsewhere. There is currently no strong evidence from Downey, Hope, Orstein or Romano that he has done so. So as of the 22nd of June 2026, the most credible story is Tottenham have tried, Newcastle have said no, and Sandro Tonali remains a Newcastle United player at the moment. Massive worry, obviously, that I don't want to lose any more of our top players. I think Tonali fits in perfectly in the shape of Newcastle's midfield, and to replace him, nearly impossible. With somebody at his age now, it's vital that we hang on to Sandro Tonali. February was huge. Cup heartbreak, league frustration, but also one of the wildest European performances of the season. February 26th was Newcastle United at full throttle, 8 games, European fireworks, cup drama, and Premier League frustration. The month began painfully as Manchester City ended Newcastle's Carabao Cup hopes with a 3-1 semi-final second leg win, despite Anthony Elanga scoring after the break. League form then wobbled again with a 3-2 home defeat to Brentford, even though Sven Botman and Bruno found the net. But Newcastle responded brilliantly, beating Spurs away 2-1 thanks to Malik Chow and Jacob Ramsey, before producing one of the best performances in the FA Cup, a 3-1 win at Aston Villa, inspired by Sandro Tonali double and Big Nick's late finish. Then came the big European explosion. Newcastle hammered Carabao away 6-1, with Anthony Gordon scoring 4 goals, Chow also on target and Jacob Murphy adding another. The home leg was tighter, but goals from Tonali, Joe Linton and Botman sealed a 3-2 win. However, the league pain returned. Defeats away to Manchester City and at home to Everton made February feel familiar. Brilliant in cups, vulnerable in the Premier League. I was informed today that I've gone over 600 videos on YouTube that are available to watch due to my match series breakdown. There's 7 normally. There's the Eddie conference review. There's my match day program and predictions. There's the team news. There's a halftime report, full-time report, the final word, and then the works. So lots of videos out there, including quite a lot of short ones and a few long ones. If you like this video, then you'll probably like my recent updates this week. So go take a look. I'm Ken, the Inside The Toon guy. So thanks for watching. There'll be more of these news reports, updates throughout the summer when the news is actually relevant, and also a lot of World Cup stuff following the 8 Toon lads that are playing for their countries. I'm Ken, the Inside The Toon guy. Have a great day. And a bonus page to end the daily update. Newcastle United's fixtures. Liverpool home first, Spurs away the following weekend. And I can't wait.